up guys, Ep.25 here, and welcome back to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. Last time we left off, we just got to the summer house that Lilly's family owns, and we're staying here for the weekend. And the first day we literally just traveled up here and KO'd, and then we spoke with Lilly a little bit, and now she cut her finger because she didn't realize that we were coming up because of the TV being too loud. So now we're gonna be helping her out, trying to treat her little finger that she cut. And yeah! Jump back into another episode, ladies and gents. An awkward silence reigns as I set the bottle of antiseptic and box of band-aids on the side of the sink. Lilly's finger held out for me to treat. The little bottle comes off with the minimum of resistance, and a small ball of cotton I soaked in the liquid stains a pale green. Okay, hold still. This will probably hurt a bit. She gives a small nod as I take hold of her hand to steady it. With all the tenderness I can muster, I gently bring the dampened wad to the small red line. Ah! What? I barely touched it. Sorry. I give a sigh. Both at her reaction and to settle my own nerves. Her pain tolerance is strangely low. I would tell you to man up, but I can't really do that. As she gives a small giggle, I take advantage of her momentary distraction and gently press the cotton against her finger a few times. Thankfully, it's enough to do the job. We both settle somewhat as I bring the band-aid over the tip of her finger, covering the wound, while making sure not to get it stuck to her fingernail. There, finished. You can move now. Taking her hand from mine, she gently clasps it on the other. Thank you. It's no problem. It's the least I could do after causing you to hurt yourself, after all. She lowers her head slightly at the apology, absent-mindedly rubbing her hand in what seems to be embarrassment. I really don't mind. Her answer doesn't seem to make much sense, given that what happened is pretty clearly my fault. I can't help grimacing at her, despite the fact that her dainty smile still holds. She must not like being reminded of the limitations her lack of sight imposes on her. It's something I can't possibly fault her for. I've fallen prey to the same kind of feelings before, despite my condition not being nearly as ubiquitous in my life? That's a word! Neither of us any the happier. We head back to the various smells of cooking food coming from the kitchen. Words. I lay out the plates of food, steam slowly rising from the well-cooked rice and curry dishes. Mahanako lays out the cutlery. Knife one side, fork on the other. Western. Perfectly fitting for someone like Lilly. As we take our seats, taking careful heed of the dark red tablecloth hanging below our knees, Lilly emerges from the kitchen. In her hands are 3 glasses and a bottle of wine? As I recall our previous run-in with that devilish elixir, I had my face in my palm. Alcohol? Seriously? She pauses as she reaches the table, a playful grin perched on her face. Akira specifically gave permission to take a bottle from her collection. Not only does she give alcohol to minors, she even lets them pilfer their own. The perfect model of responsibility adult Akira is not. More to the point, though, is that this is hardly a meal deserving of alcohol. I'm starting to think Lilly is the type to easily become hooked on things. That's not really the problem. I don't really have any qualms with it. But didn't you have a bad experience with it last time? Last time was likely due to drinking too much, so a single glass shouldn't prove a problem. Think of it as a learning experience. I can't recall many learning experiences that made me feel rotten before putting me to sleep, but I'll take your word for it. She dips an uninjured finger inside to feel the liquid level, the tip against the bottom as the liquid rises. The white on her finger almost seems to glow as the sunlight hits it, the delicate outline blur and refractured by the glass. Her fingers are definitely longer than mine, the kind I think more suited to a pianist than a teacher. She'd likely have done well if she'd learned how to play. We quickly dig into our meal, forks and knives clattering against plates. None of us are particularly eager to speak while eating. Lilly altogether too reserved for such a thing, Hanako probably too shy to start a conversation, and I too busy savoring the food. Such a pedestrian activity, eating together at a table. It seems so utterly normal. And yet, it makes me realize how long it's been since I've done something like this. Just the 3 of us, sitting around a single table eating as if we were a malformed family. Maybe this trip, as far from everything as we are, was worth it. It takes quite a long time, but eventually we all finish our surprisingly filling meals. The wine, thankfully, has little effect given we've only had a glass or 2 each. I slump back into the seat, rubbing my stomach contentedly. I'm stuffed. Lilly pats her mouth with a napkin. Twice. Only twice. And with evenly timed intervals in between. It's hard to tell sometimes whether how she acts is a well-trained routine or a well-rehearsed act. I think I must be as well. Did you like it, Hanako? Mm-hmm. It was nice. Now that we're well fed, shall we be off? Off? Where? Ah, you weren't privy to discuss. You weren't privy to the discussion between Hanako and me earlier. I get the impression that she's having a subtle dig at my sleeping in. We'll be going into the town nearby. I guess I should have expected two girls to take a holiday as an excuse to go shopping, no matter where on the planet they might be. I'm interested to see more around the north, though, so this can only be a good thing. Sounds good. How long's the walk in, then? It's supposed to be around a mile to a mile and a half. Nearby, huh? Great. Just great. As we climb up the path surrounded by trees and undergrowth, I watch Lilly and Hanako walking ahead. The slight breeze all but whisks away the sounds of Lily's cane gently tapping on the ground. I notice that Lily's since removed the band-aid now that was bleeding of her finger has stopped. A deep, lung-filled breath of the fresh country air makes me wish all the harder that the air around home had been quite so clean. It can't have even been half a mile, but I'm already working up a sweat. It isn't a pleasantly cool day, though, so I shouldn't be too hard on myself for it. Hey Lily, how well do you know this town anyway? Since I spent quite a few of my vacations here up until I entered Yamaku, I'd say I know it fairly well. We used to drive there once a weekend then. How I wish Akira was here to drive us now. I quickly take a moment to rub my hands a couple of times, staving off the oddly cold feeling in them. Did you like it up here? I'd say it was nice during winter, but as you can work out, summer gets a little too hot for comfort. It's nice and quiet, at least. My family's real house is quite far south. When they left Japan, my parents gave it to Akira and me. Only Akira lives there now, after I'm moving into Yamaku. Well, quite certainly describes this place. How lonely is how I'd put it. Other than the comprehensive small town, there isn't another soul for miles around. Coming from a home nestled deep within the big city is certainly different. I think that if I'd not come to Yamaku, staying out in the country like this would be too much of a change to get used to. After getting accustomed to the school's isolation, though, the idea of living in such a place such as this has become almost inviting. To be somewhere away from the hustle and bustle of the metropolitan centers. So Hisao, have you been to Hokkaido before? Nah, I used to live down south, and we never had any field trips or holidays up this far. Well, it's a new experience for you then. Yeah, it is. I'm surprised at how nice it feels here. How about you, Hanako? She shakes her head from side to side. It's my first time too. As we continue walking, I begin to feel pins and needles in my legs. It's a little disturbing, given there's no reason for it to be happening. Could you still hold on a moment? I just need to... Is anything wrong? Nah, I've just got pins and needles in... Uh-oh. My vocal cords suddenly become taut as my chest tightens instantaneously. I quickly pull my upper arm over it, trying to quell the shout of pain spreading throughout my entire body. Hisao? Lily's face is only mildly concerned, not knowing the sight which Hanako's recalling from. I'm fine, just tired. I remove my arm from my chest and force myself to begin walking again. It's just a minor heart flutter, so it'll pass like the others. It only takes a couple of steps before my body violently revolts against me, my legs suddenly beginning to give way underneath me and all tension in my knees seeming to evaporate. Oh shit, I'm like dropping. Before I can react, they uselessly give way under my weight, leaving me only just enough time to brace myself and fall onto all fours. Ah, damn. Ah! As I look up to her, I realize my face is still taut with pain, only adding that much more to her worrying. Hisao? Hanako, tell me what's going on. Hanako, tell me! Hanako quickly moves to my side as Lily almost panics, having little clue as to exactly how bad a condition I'm in. While she stands there petrified, I lower my face and take a deep breath. I come to a realization that makes me endlessly irritated with my stupid self. With all the excitement of my new surroundings, I've entirely neglected to take my medications last night, or even this morning. Oh, that's why I'm freaking dropped. Take another breath, the acute pain in my chest begins to die down as suddenly as it arrived. Thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God. As it does, I become acutely aware of the sweat by now pouring off my face and the two scared girls around me. Hisao? I'm fine, Lily, I'm fine. I screw up my brow in an effort to lever myself up, Hanako's arms quickly moving to catch me if I fall, as I stumble a bit before regaining my balance. I look to Lilly and Hanako, worry written on both their faces. I feel awful. Utterly awful. I think we should go back. Realizing the futility processing, I look away in frustration. Fine. Jesus. Was not expecting that one, to be honest. That was a bit worrying. I guess I'm just back at the house now. I open my eyes groggily, completely bereft of energy. For a while, I simply lie down lifelessly, staring at the ceiling as I review the events of the morning in an attempt to organize my thoughts. We went to walk to town. My heart nearly gave way. We came back. I took my pills. I slept. I can remember each period of time as a snapshot. But the timeline is clear enough. The memory of the girls' faces I struggled to stand is an unpleasant one, stinging my feelings harshly. If I look at the ceiling hard enough, I can imagine the tile edges and simple dimples of the ceiling in the hospital. That fact alone is enough to make me sit up and try to pull myself together. I scratched the back of my disheveled hair, glancing around the room. Lilly and Hanako are nowhere to be seen, and the television's turned off. The clock above it says it's pretty late in the afternoon. The noticeable rendering sky outside in the windows confirms it further. I turn and pick myself off the futon, swaying slightly as I put my arms out for balance. I suppose I'd better go look for the girls if they're alright. As I look out the window, I faintly see something in the distance. Straining my eyes, I can just make out the shape of the person's figure. Her long blonde hair, swaying in the faint breeze, makes her almost seem to melt into the bright yellow of the wheat field. Without a second thought, I leave the room to follow the lone apparition. The brightness of the setting sun assaults my freshly woken eyes, forcing me to avert them until they adjust. The long yellow strands of wheat brush against my legs as I wade through them, the densely grown field making it hard to advance. Regardless, my eyes stay fixed ahead. True to that solitary figure, within minutes I reach her, meters behind her, turn back. Lilly? She simply nods. Where's Hanako? She's in bed. She went to bed after I calmed her down. She says it matter-of-factly, and with as few words as possible, as if saying any more was strictly forbidden. There's something different about her. Her normally confident figure seems oddly fragile, her body offering no resistance to the breeze blowing her skirt. The strands of wheat sway from side to side while a deafening pause passes, the only sound being their rustling. As we stay in the field alone, I know what I have to ask. What's wrong, Lilly? You're not acting like you usually do. Remember when I talked of my family, Hisao? Your family? I look downwards in thought, sifting through my scattered memories. The event seems to leap ready to hand when I search for it, rising to the surface as soon as it was recalled. After Hanako's birthday party? She gives a simple, single nod. It was nice, back then. You and I, sailoring with Hanako, simply sharing presents, talking, having fun together. It was almost as if we were a family. One small, misshapen family. I thought that could just go on forever, just the three of us, happily together. She takes a long breath, a slight shakiness to it, just barely audible through the moving air. Even my family was so far away. As long as we were together, that was all I needed. I don't want to lose you, Hisao. I didn't even realize how afraid I was of losing someone else until today. I'm sorry, Lee. I know my body's weak, but even then I make the most stupid of mistakes. Don't apologize. Please don't apologize. Lilly? She turns to face me, her pale cheeks stained with tears. One misguided step after another, she stumbles towards me, her arms held out in search of so much as a faint brush against me. My heart doesn't race nor pound as I step towards Lilly, gently taking and steadying her in my arms as she quickly clutches to me, sobbing. With her face trembling against my shoulder, the next words from her mouth are the last I expected. I love you, Hisao. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Don't go away, I beg of you. Never ever go away. I love you, so please. So, that's why she's been acting like this. The tender voice when I called her. Her thoughtless concern at the slightest pain I might feel. After having been left in Japan without her family, and with only Akira, Hanako, and me around, she was afraid of losing yet another person who was close to her. She was generally worried for me. It's a strange feeling, a mix of surprise and sorrow, yet also the deepest gratitude I think I've ever felt. The only reaction I can muster among my conflicting emotions is a calm sigh. You idiot. Sao? For a fleeting moment, I feel her body become still. The only movement to be felt is the calm afternoon breeze. I said it before, didn't I? It's only natural to feel concerned about those around you. I'm still here, and I will always be here, because I want to see you more each day, to share in your happiness, to support you in your sadness. Most of all, I'll be here because I want to see your smile, your true smile. A single gust of wind rustles the long strains of wheat. A second silence passes. Smile when you want to smile. Cry when you want to cry. I love you, Lily. So you don't have to hold back anymore. With that, her arm clutched on my back as tightly as she can, her face buried beside me. Her tears fall down my back and she cries unrestrainedly as the last of her resistance melts away. Hisao, Hisao, Hisao. I close my eyes and bring my head down to her shoulder, holding her shaking frame tightly. It's okay, Lily. I'll never go away. I promise. That was nice. We slowly walk back to the house, now holding each other tightly as we take a seat inside. Lily leans her head onto my shoulder as I put my arm around her waist. Neither of us has any want to break the silence. With her eyes shut, it's hard to work out whether she's fallen asleep. Not that I mind, the warmth of her body leaning against me, the softness of her hand delicately held in mine. For a long, long time, we sit leaning against one another, sharing our warmth and feelings as night eventually begins to settle in. Lily's gentle, soft voice ends the silence. Thank you, Hisao. Thank you. For returning my feelings. Did you think I wouldn't? There was the possibility. I take a deep breath and thought, that much was only my fault. It's funny, actually. I was thinking of telling you about my own feelings sometime soon. I guess in that way, you saved me the effort. Damn! She raises her head a little and gives a tiny amused giggle. I smile at how earnest it is, so girlish in its lightness. She collects herself soon afterwards, her hair resting against my shoulder. Feeling a bit better? She gives a small nod. You are thoughtful, Hisao. That's why I like you. I'm sorry I'm like this. As much as I didn't want to make you concerned for me, I couldn't do anything to prevent it. Don't apologize for it. Please don't. Lily? Have I ever apologized for my blindness even once? You can't help the way you were born, Hisao. There's no point in apologizing for who you are. She says this with surprising conviction. In the end, it was perhaps this mentality which spurred her to befriend me in such a short time, in addition to her motherly instincts. She did seem to become trusting very quickly, but I never questioned why. Now it seems obvious that she did so to help me as I went through one of the lowest points of my life. I moved to respond, but cut myself off as I feel her fingers run gently through my hair. I feel their soft and delicate touch moving towards to trace the contours of my face, her palm finally settling on my cheek. You're a beautiful person, Hisao. Please, don't ever apologize for that. For a moment, I'm utterly speechless. I slowly bend my head down, placing a tender kiss on her light, voluminous hair. We're a couple of right old fools, aren't we? We are. After a long calm, she speaks again. Hisao? Yes. I wouldn't mind if you... I feel her hand tensing under mine, trembling slightly. My mouth opens, but try as I might, I can't formulate a response to her proposition. Lily? Before I can say another word, she lifts her hand from under mine and tenderly holds the side of my face once more. Please? I give a peaceful smile, holding her hand against my cheek as I nod a single time. Okay. As I look into her eyes, she leans towards me. Her delicate lips touch mine as she guides herself with her hand. She breaks off not a second later, faintly smiling. I love you, Hisao. We kissed again, this time with both of us beating the other. While the previous kiss was one of love, this one was lust. Okay, whoa. Alright, it's got a little too much for me to read here. Our tongues meeting and our breathing heavily. After precious seconds we part, both our faces well and truly flushed. Both of us bring our fingers to our lips in unison, recalling the fleeting feeling, rapidly becoming buried both by our urges and bashfulness. Lily is the first to shift uncomfortably, though. What is it? Should we get more comfortable? Whoa! Whoa! Alright, oh, we need to pause here. Alright, this is gonna happen. This is happening next time. Alright, we need to... This went from love to, like, possibly sex. Alright, hold up. We need to calm down for a second. I need to calm down because I'm about to read this. Alright, hold up. Okay, so if you guys enjoyed, be sure to like button down below. So if you're not subscribed, you can subscribe as well. Oh god. Get ready for Mitchell to be embarrassed as shit next episode if this is actually happening. Alright. Love you guys. See you next time. Hope you enjoyed. Bye bye.